have it so that I can record, play, and stream all at the same time and have it all work really nice and smooth, so that when it comes to actually racing, we're not crippled by terrible frame rate. So how about the Chateau? Okay, well that seems to be working now. But this might be, this was one of the early tracks, so it might be less susceptible. It's so fantastic when VR's running smooth. I can't see the chat room, I just realised, so. I just put my brakes on in front of that guy. It's entirely possible actually, it's the alt tabbing out is causing it to run slower. Or any one of the numerous programs that I use to get this all working. There we go. You can see the chat room now. Why is my horn bound to my look left button? I don't know. Oh, that's better. See, when it stutters now, it's not actually affecting the perception of speed. Well, maybe it's a weird memory leak issue or something. Oh no. It's so frustrating because the game is literally only dropping one frame, but that seems to be enough to kick in the that's enough to kick in the whatever it is, the asynchronous time warp or the reprojection or the combination of the two of them. Oh, I've just murdered someone. Oh, I could get rid of the reflections. We can sacrifice reflections, I guess. Oh dear, there's always a sacrifice of something. Sacrifice reflections. Also, maybe turn render to pixel down in for the interface. Goodbye reflections. Hello static textures, my old friend. Will we actually load into this because the race was about to start? Probably not. No. How foolish of me. Nothing beats testing graphical settings live. Be interesting to try the exact same thing with the Rift actually, because they still haven't got an OpenVR from what I understand. Hi Unholy Moondog. So you get a little performance boost from using the native drivers. So hi Floydan. So it could be good to. I mean, if I try the Rift with it, it'll probably run better because it's obviously using the Rift drivers. The thing is, when you turn the reflections off, you just lose the sexy lustre of the car bodywork. force feedback clipping. The cars just look a little bit flat without reflections on them. The game does run a lot faster with them off though, so I guess maybe it's a sacrifice worth taking. Not sure if Spa's one of the heavier tracks in the game in terms of objects and how well it runs. Well, this is running flawless now. This is, you know, I could use this competitively. We are recording at the same time. Yeah, recording and streaming, and at 60 FPS. So, oh no, it looks like reflections are about to be murdered. Maybe I need to get a 1080. The thing is, the GTX 1070 was still it's like £350. I think I paid for it. Maybe a tiny bit less because I sold the game that came with it. But the 1080 I think is like £500. It's really just to get an extra 20 FPS. Maybe that's what you need to do for the ultimate sim racing VR experience. But it's a bit beyond, I think. Solid 90 FPS. Not quite solid. It's 89.5.45654. No, Jean-Francois. It's for VR. You have to run the game at 90 basically for VR to work, to sort of trick your brain into it looking like reality in terms of the smoothness of the head tracking and everything. It has to be 90 FPS, and so you can't lock it at 60 in the game, otherwise it would look horrible in VR. If anything, it would be locked at 45 FPS so it can do reprojection. To be honest, it's worth sacrificing reflections for the smoothness, because it literally is the difference between it being smooth like reality and being able to perceive the speed versus shiny cars but stutter, making it really hard to judge what the vehicle's doing visually. He's watching. I recommend doing that, yes. I think you should watch it 12 FPS at 360p to get the full console experience. Paul, are you drunk? Yeah, well, you've got the speed at which the game is rendering at. Then you've got the speed at which the VR, I don't know what you call it, the sort of VR projection, not reprojection, but like I think the game sends it out to a projected surface, and then that's mapped onto the VR headset. So, no, you're a little bit confused, Paul North. You get the asynchronous time warp will happen if you're not hitting 90 FPS in the game. Then, well, for Steam reprojection, what happens then is it goes to 45 FPS and doubles up the frame, so you're getting half. It's leaving the pixels on for twice as long, and basically that will be the game running at 45 FPS. It literally caps the game, but you notice like ghosting and other artifacts and things when you do that. If your game's running at 90 FPS, then give or take the headset is also displaying at 90 FPS. Asynchronous time warp though will let the game fluctuate a little bit, and it kind of rounds it up and does, well, it puts it onto a surface, and then the head tracking stays at 90 FPS, but the game can vary its frame rate. But it's obviously a lot more complicated than that. I'd have to link you to a YouTube video that explains it all. It gets really convoluted. And then Oculus have just recently announced, and they've implemented asynchronous space warp, which is like a synchronous time warp, but it's works in three-dimensional space. So when you move your head laterally up and down, you still get the smoothness. But yeah, it's very complicated. Oh, hello. Oh, this is running perfect. This is fine. This is acceptable for me now. Gold 401. You don't get subs by asking for them on other people's channels. Just make good videos or do interesting streams. What's the incentive for someone to click on your channel? And what you don't really. Also, you don't want people to just subscribe to you for subscriber's sake. You want people that actually care about your content. So do you know what I mean? Having subscribers doesn't mean anything if they're not watching or enjoying what you like. You know, for example, on our YouTube we've got like 20,000 subscribers, but of that, there's probably 800, 1,000 people that genuinely, you know, into. Think that I'm sexy and you know, enjoy the content. Yeah, well, as I said, James Andrew, it gets very complicated and convoluted, but at the end of the day, generally, if the game is running at 90 FPS, then at least you're on your way there. You're sort of getting there. That's the beginning of it. But yeah, obviously you could have a game that's still running at 90 and then it's not for whatever reason. There's other delays coming into the system and other aspects that affect the end result. Hi Fossario. Well, I'm happy. This seems to be working fine because we're on Spa with a full grid. I mean, it is dark and dank. For some reason, the server is set up to depression mode, but this is all good. I think we're pretty much set for streaming later tonight. What we'll probably stream at around about 9:30 or so, and go do some sim racing system races and. Should be good. Hi, Doug. How's the stream look for you guys? Are you watching on Twitch and YouTube? We need to turn the chaperone floor off marker for driving sims. Is it running at 60 FPS on Twitch as well? Yeah, why have they set the sky so dark? I mean, on my OBS, I've brightened it up a little bit, so the video feed is. I've got a tiny bit of sharpening on it and a tiny bit of. Whoops! I don't want to go opposite lock round there. Tiny bit of sharpening, tiny bit of brightening up to change the contrast because I noticed. When it's darker on videos after compression and everything, it often looks really dark. Who's an issue with MPEG? Should be running at 60 FPS on YouTube. I don't know why it wouldn't be. It's definitely recording. I checked the previous video, even when it was stuttering, it was, for me in the headset, it was recording at 60 FPS. So, that, I mean, because that's what I want to do is be able to capture, stream and record at the same time, so that when, you know, if I have a good race, I can upload as a separate YouTube video or use the footage in reviews. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, oh. Need to take that other guy out whilst we rejoin the chat. Oh, we got a penalty, who cares? Can't believe you just rammed us off the circuit. Are you a brummie? No, I'm not a brummie. Alright. You're from me. I used to live in the Midlands between a bunch of cities, so I have a weird Midlands accent. All right. Brummie's talk pretty funny actually. It's good. Pull north. I get stabbed by an angry Brummie, a horde of angry Brummies. They'll come and stab me. That's what I get for reading the chat. Well, I'm happy with how things are running. CPU's running at 51%, which is strange. I thought it'd be more load, but I guess it seems that most games now just load up one core, but then don't use the full extent of the CPU, unless you've got a ton of AI with a set of corsa. FPS is where it's at, you know. It's not about playing games or enjoying them or having fun. It's all about the FPS. That's, you know, that's the excitement is FPS, getting the FPS as high as possible. I like how there's 40 people watching me test my frame rate. Oh dear. As I say, if you are watching, he's had an accident, he's gone in the wall. We will be doing a proper stream later tonight, round about 9 PM. This is purely a test, and I'm enjoying myself, so I'm still driving. Oh no, we've got a follower from the FPS test. Thank you for following. Whoa, what is that? What's going on? I don't know what that was. My head just disconnected from my body. Oh dear. That's never happened before. What was that about? I've never seen that before. My head literally disconnected from my body. You couldn't. I don't think you could reach 120. Well, the game would run at that speed, but the way OpenVR drivers operate, I think it always caps it at 90. Like, I don't think there is a way for the headset. I mean, the screen themselves don't refresh faster than 90 FPS anyway. I might need to readjust my lighthouses and stuff and give some other things a fiddle. I can't believe my head literally just detached. Firefox might be using Flash New Wolf, whereas Chrome uses what's it called, HTML5, or you know, I can't remember. I think it is HTML5. I don't know. Why did you say 45 each screen? Both screens run at 90. If it was 45 each screen, then effectively it would be, you know, it would be 45 FPS. It's each screen is driven at 90 hertz. otherwise there'd be no point at running the game at 90 hertz. 90 frames a second, whatever you want to call it. The G-forces, look out. The G-forces were so high that my neck detached, my head detached. That happens in race driving. That's how realistic VR gaming's got. Paul North, I'm reading the chat room and I'm driving into walls. I think Paul North, are you trolling? It's just Google, Get on the Googles, type in VR frame rates. Actually, there's some really good talks from the Steam Dev Days. I think it was from the Steam Dev Days, but there's some really good talks. There's been some VR conferences that will explain. They go over fully asynchronous time warp. There's a guy called, I've forgotten his name. Everyday VR, he did a good video on asynchronous time warp and how that works. Check out that video. And I think it also explains asynchronous space warp. But it's the kind of thing where, you know, it's really hard to sort of convey without diagrams or actual video explanations. I think Paul Norris is getting a little bit confused with reprojection, and when reprojection kicks in, it forces the game to 45 FPS, and then it doubles up the pixels, so it gives the headset twice as long, effectively, to catch up with the game, so you don't get a stutter. But what you do get is ghosting artifacts and other things. I'm excited. Yeah, I'm not. I am, but I don't really want to spend too much more money on the Vive. To be honest, I'm quite happy with this head strap. I'll have to get one to review it though, so don't really have much choice. But I guess the headphones could be nice on it, and I guess having the solid head strap could be quite nice. Mostly for when you. I mean, I play with my Vive with my girlfriend, so we swap it over. And the head strap on the Vive is really annoying, the current one, when it comes to swapping from person to person. That's probably the main reason why they've redesigned the head strap, actually. Also, the Velcro and stuff wears out on this current one, so yeah, I guess I probably will have to get it. I wouldn't say I'm excited for it, but I can see how it could be an improvement. No, if reprojection only kicks in if the frame rate drops below 90, because obviously you don't need reprojection if the game's running at 90, because it's, you know, it's there, it's already there. But the way reprojection, because there's the three different systems are reprojection, which cuts the frame rate down to 45 if you drop anywhere below 90. It'll just immediately cut it to 45, and you sort of doubles the frames and everything. Then there's asynchronous time warp, which and it essentially maps the game onto like I can't even explain it, but that allows the game to go to any frame rate, and you can still move your head, and it looks for the most part fine. It doesn't look like it's slowing down. And then there's asynchronous space warp, which God knows how that works, but it's basically like asynchronous time warp, but in 4 dimensions. Reprojection isn't like a asynchronous time warp or asynchronous space warp, it's another one. But the Vive now has asynchronous space warp. No, the Vive has asynchronous time warp, essentially, but they call it asynchronous reprojection. So, but it doesn't have asynchronous space warp. So it's all totally simple and intuitive to understand. But basically, as it is now, the Vive operates the same as the Rift with its asynchronous reprojection as the Rift operated with asynchronous time warp. So, but you still sometimes you still can get a little bit of stutter if your frame rate drops below 90. I mean, the ideal situation is that you're always running your games at above 90 FPS, or well, you know, the performance there so that the game never drops below 90, and that will always work the best. I mean, on both headsets, the ideal thing is to always have the game always at least 90. How well could racing be rendered in VR if developers... I don't know if it would make a huge difference from how it is now. I mean, because coincidentally, driving simulators and simulators in general tend to actually line up to what you would want from a VR game anyway. Because, you know, with VR games you're moving your head around, so developers can't cut objects off as aggressively as they might do with 2D games. You notice if you play like Race 07, for example, if you run it with super high field of view, you get all these like bugging out stuff popping in and popping off at the side of the screen, because the game has quite aggressive optimization. which isn't actually good for VR, because in VR you're moving your head around. So I guess you would get better performance. There'll be certain things developers can do, but for the most part, the biggest thing that I think current sims get is if they use the actual native drivers for the given headset. So if we had OpenVR with Assetto Corsa, then you'd probably get a 5 frame second boost, maybe 10 frames a second boost over what you currently have, because they'd be able to take advantage of some of the things of OpenVR that Revive I don't think does. So I think also, for example, if you play Assetto Corsa with the Rift, you should get slightly better performance than if you play it with the Vive, if that makes sense, because it's got the Rift drivers natively. But that'll do for now. I'll be back on later, guys. See you at about 9ish, I guess.